Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for the Q&A, so let's go ahead and get this started. All right, first question. If I'm doing full body 3 times a week, would only doing bent over rows for back and doing dumbbell curls to compensate for not doing pull-ups be enough? I highly prefer them over vertical pulling because they're a great bicep workout, but the rows hit the back muscles much more and it would really help my posture. In addition, I'm already going up in weight pretty quickly. Good question. No, I mean, if you noticed that my newest novice program, I don't have pull-ups or chin-ups in there. I have rows, and I'm fine with the novice doing only rows. And, we get into a big debate as to whether we should be doing pull-ups, whether we should be doing rows, whether you should be doing both. Honestly, it depends upon different weak points, what you're trying to work. The row and the pull-up do work the back differently, right? They work the back differently. But they're both valuable exercises, and it has to do with what parts of the back you want to hit a little more. And I don't mean different parts of the lat, I mean the back. Rows, in my opinion, done correctly, don't hit the lats quite as effectively as, say, a pull-up does. Right? They also don't hit things like your abs and things as effectively. But they work the traps a little more, they work the rear delts a little more, they work the spinal erectors more. Right, all of those things. So the muscles that give you the thicker back in general will come a little bit better from rows, whereas in the overall back width, which is going to be your lats, it's going to come a little better from pull-ups. But all in all, both exercises are capable of developing all those areas. And if that's how you want to program a full body right now, if you're adding deadlifts in with that and maybe some face pulls, I think you'll be fine. And there's no reason you can't get maximum back development between those exercises and then doing, curls for your biceps, for your arms. There's no reason you can't do that. It sounds perfectly acceptable to me, as long as you're programming all of it correctly, and you're putting serious effort into each of these exercises. I think it's perfectly acceptable. Again, but assuming you know how to write your own program. All right, next question. Hey coach, I wonder if it's okay for a novice to do Semi Sumo Stance Deadlift, not a full sumo. You mean like a hybrid stance, which is what you see me doing. Low conventional block pull or something instead of conventional deadlift on Ice Cream Fitness 2.0. Do you need extra good mornings for posterior chain assistance in that case? Conventional feels really unnatural and weak for me, and I have really short arms. Jeff Nippard shows the most effective way to deadlift for muscle and strength. Sumo Technique Explained that the difference between sumo and conventional is only the sumo is a bit more quad and a bit less lower back, and conventional the other way around. I think actually conventional probably hits your hamstrings a hair harder also. Well, for the novice lifter, it's, I used to be really dogmatic about this. If you want to do sumo as a novice and you can do sumo correctly, go ahead and train sumo for a while. That's fine. I'll sign off on it on the 2.0 if you can sumo deadlift correctly. I think the sumo deadlift is slightly harder to learn than the conventional deadlift. I think the conventional deadlift is the easiest exercise out of all the big exercises to learn, because it really is. It's just the most natural movement in the world. I think the sumo has a steeper learning curve, so that would be the caveat that I would throw in. Can you perform the sumo correctly? And maybe you should film yourself, maybe you should ask a coach. There's a lot of things for you to think about with it. But just keep in mind, it is slightly inferior for the posterior chain. Now, the reason you would probably still be okay with it on the novice program is because we are doing barbell rows on the novice program, right? So if anything, here's what I might suggest. Do some extra hyperextensions. All right, that's what I would suggest. If you're going to do some extra work because you choose to do sumo instead of conventional, I would come in and maybe add in a little bit of hyperextensions even on the novice 2.0. All right, that's the direction I would go if you choose to go that route, and with the added caveat, you can perform the sumo correctly. All right, next question. And this question is going to be somewhat similar to the first one, so let's dig into it. Jason, is it okay to program pin lay rows instead of chin-ups and pull-ups? Pull-ups seem to aggravate my left shoulder when I get fatigued, so I can't do as many reps, and I start doing weighted chin-ups, but as soon as I started pulling in volumes and sets, I started getting golfer's elbow and elbow tendonitis. It's weird because overhead press and bench give me no problems. You know what, man, I can relate to that, bro. I love chin-ups. I absolutely love chin-ups. I think they are one of the greatest exercises ever invented, the weighted chin-up. It's even a contested lift. That means it's now an official lift of strength athletes. There's formal competitions for it, for the weighted chin. So I adore the lift. I get the same problem, mainly in my bicep tendons. Some of it with your forearm, though, down there, you can adjust your grip, or you need to find a variation that works. Like for me, I can't do the parallel grip ones, right? The golfer's elbow you describe, I get within 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes even after a single workout, if I do the hammer grip ones, right? Parallel grip. So, I mean, I get it. And here's what I would say. If you can't handle tendonitis issues you get from them, and I do understand the shoulder tweaking on the overhand grip pull-up can happen from time to time. I've even felt that fatigue you're talking about, to where it feels close to an overuse injury. All right, fine. If you're in that situation, go ahead and do rows. I mean, look at what I'm doing right now. What do you see me doing? I'm doing rows twice a week, and I've cut my pull-ups and chin-ups out. I'm doing pendlay rows. And, it's perfectly acceptable. Do what you have to do. Do what you have to do to get those upper back pulls in. And you have to find the ones that you can do consistently. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with rotating back around to it, right? Like, let's say you get to a point to where you don't feel any tendonitis. Again, none of the elbow issues on the golfer's elbow, none of the shoulder problems. And if you want to rotate in chin-ups or something again for a while, rotate them back in for a phase. You can train the exercise until it starts to give you some of those issues and then take it back out. And you need to look at training that way with any big exercise. This is how we avoid overuse injuries. You can take an amazing exercise that seems to push you close to overuse injuries and take it close to that threshold and then pull the exercise back out for a few months if you need to, and do rows instead. Or you could just decide you don't care about chin-ups and pull-ups. And I hate to say that because I love the weighted chin-up. I love it. I think it's, again, one of the best exercises ever invented. But if it's causing you those issues and you're not going to compete in the chin-up contest, all right, fine, do rows, especially if you can do them comfortably. And I can too. I understand where you're coming from. I run into the same issue, especially with my previous injury. So again, at least you are doing heavy pulls for your upper back. It's still basically almost a full body exercise. I think you'll be fine. All right, next question. Reading a lot more about how cow milk, even whole and organic in the U.S., are from cows that are pregnant for longer, leading to unflavored hormone levels for males in its milk. Since the goat and sheep dairy industry is less developed and hence its milking process is less subject to manipulation, would it be a better option just for general health and fitness, not just for gains? Also, any thoughts on their taste? Thanks, Coach. I think you're overreading that, and I think the data doesn't really show that. And again, most of those hormones are not orally bioavailable anyways. They really aren't. Like, you need to understand, if you take testosterone or estrogen in pill form, you're not taking pure testosterone or pure estrogen. They have to have certain things attached so that they can get through your digestive system and through your liver and everything. Like, you need to understand that. Anyone who's like worked around anabolics and things, or around a pharmaceutical industry in any way, would be laughing at that, anyone making these sort of claims. That's not reality. Over 99% of any of that trace amount of that hormone in your milk, your digestive system is destroying it. Your digestive system is destroying it. But assuming you are concerned with that, or let's just say that you just don't like cow milk, but you want the benefits of dairy. All right, you just don't like it. You have a phobia of it. You're terrified of it. Goat milk, perfectly acceptable from a health perspective. I've never had sheep milk. I like goat milk. It's a stronger taste, but I think goat milk is fine. Like, if I raised goats, and I probably will one day when I get back out in the country again, yeah, I totally drink goat milk, or even look into making goat milk yogurt. That would be awesome. So yeah, I think goat milk is fine. It's just, it's a different taste. You're going to have to get used to it. But it's perfectly acceptable. And from a health perspective, it's fine. All right, next question. Hey, mate, would you say that you can get complete back development from chin-ups and pull-ups and deadlifts, or is a horizontal pull necessary? Man, we are getting a lot of back questions today. Let's go back over to the other points. Look at the last two questions we asked. And for those of you who maybe just skipped to this one, go and read questions 1 and 3 before this 5 and listen to my answers. No, it's not necessary. Do I think pull-ups, chin-ups, deadlifts, and maybe some face pulls, a little rear delt work can give you complete back development? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The only problem we run into is, again, the overuse injury thing. I run into overuse injuries with excessive chin-up volume and pull-up volume. All right. These are movements, though, that you can get overuse injuries eventually, particularly as you start to get a hair older. But if you can do them for months and months on end, that's fine. And here, let's not be dogmatic. Let's go back over to the point about minimalist training. No novice will ever have maximum development. You're not going to have maximum development in any muscle on your body till you have been training really, really, really hard for more than 5 years. It is just not going to happen. Novices do fine on minimalist programming. But when you get to be more advanced, you're going to need a little bit of exercise variation. You need some exercise variation, if for nothing else, avoiding overuse injuries. So you're still probably going to want to rotate through different grips on those chin-ups and pull-ups. You're still going to want to rotate through a couple different forms of deadlifts. But I think it'll be fine. If that is your preferred method and you don't get any overuse or inflammation from chin-ups and pull-ups, I think you could get away with nothing but variations of those. You could specialize in those and deadlifting, and you could build an absolutely monstrous back, right? Build a monstrous back, no doubt about it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time in part 2.